Right, that hopefully would have solved a few things. Now, a few people have gone to the dry ice just to look at it, but there's still a lot of spray. We've got 4 minutes left. I'm not really sure this track is going to dry up in time. This, I don't know whether it would be the grid or not. Still going to ride up on a chronic. Yeah, the spray is, you can see on the rear tyres, it's still there. Yeah, Raikkonen and a couple of others are keeping an eye on the softs, but 3 minutes, they're going to have like one lap if this track is dry, and DRS is still not available. So Chronic anyway improves to 27.2. Orphan is currently in P7 at the moment. First time, I think this is his second or third time into the top 10, and he's looking pretty good. Back into the pits. He don't have a lot of time left at all for dry tyres. If it's anybody going to gamble it. Very tough choice to make here for the drivers of who they're going to go for. What they're going to go for. I don't think this track is going to be dry enough. They might. Depends if you over the line or one of the last over the line. They're going to vac very, very quickly. It's about a minute 20. That's a lot better. That's what it was. It's my bit rate that was far too high, apparently. Going to this. Why is Orphan on the mediums? Get on the softs, man. Well, Kins back out on the inters, which is interesting. Anybody else trying for softs? Raikkonen is still in intermediate. This could go one of several rays here. Either you go out on the dries and it's just perfect, or it's intermediate, so you improve massively. Let's see, so Raikkonen is on the inters, and he's coming out on the softs. Tacticals has got to come out, like, now. And... is he coming out? Yeah, he's left it very late. I don't know you're going to make that round in time, Tacticals. But who's made the right call? You got Raikkonen, Dano, Kraken, Immortal and Mando on the intermediates. The rest on dries. Chronic is still going round at the moment doing laps on intermediate players. By the way, I cannot see the chat at the moment because my laptop has decided to have a moment. So hopefully things are alright. I did see it briefly. But this is anybody's now, I think. Who has called this right? Who is going to get round in time? The spray is still there. DRS has not been activated yet, so I'm not sure the dries are going to work. And you can see on board of Andy, he's sliding all over the place. Tacticals, I think, is going to struggle. Yeah, he's not making it. Tacticals ain't making it at all. Mortal's disqualified. What's happened there? For blocking the pit lane, I think I saw. So yeah, Mortal's done. This is... we've got 7 seconds to go. Is Andy going to make... Andy's not going to make it either. 2, 1... yeah, Andy's out. Andy is 4th at best. Tacticals is nowhere near made it. So this is down to 3, and they're all on the intermediate tyres. Kraken, Raikkonen, or Dano. And Kraken is sliding about all over the middle sector. And is he even improving? He's 2 tenths down. I don't think he's proven enough. He's got the AI car of Mando in front of him. Does he improve enough? The track is drying up substantially. Does he take... Only improves by 300s and doesn't go any quicker. Raikkonen's not going any quicker, but he's on pole currently. Currently doesn't need to improve. But it's between him and Dano who takes pole position. And Raikkonen, 25, 26. Doesn't improve. Is it going to be enough? Dano is 3/10 up. He's hooking it up at the best possible time. Is it going to be enough to snatch pole away? It is. 26-0 with the last lap of the session. Takes pole position away from Raikkonen. Pole for Dano in the McLaren. In a weird situation where the track was drying up, but not enough for dries. A couple of people tried it and it's ended up with Dano on the pole. The two Ferraris, Raikkonen and Tactical, 2nd and 3rd. And then the two Renaults, 4th and 5th. Chronic in 6th. Styles Orphan in 7th. That's his best qualifying for a while. Empty the Mighty 8th. Mando in 9th. And Immortal got disqualified for blocking the pit lane. I did see his dot. For some reason, stopped on the pit lane entrance. That's a shame for him, but we are now head into this race with a very, very tasty grid. And the question on quite a few people's minds, unless you are driving, of course, because you already know, is it dry? And it is complete blazing sunlight. It's exactly the same as it is here. Probably really hot as well. Jesus. Well, that makes things slightly interesting as well, because what tyres do you start on? They have completely free choice of tyre compound. This makes it very fun to decide what to do. This would be a very big call from a lot of these drivers here of what to go on. Because obviously they won't know of people around them until their formation, at by which time it would be too late to change. So, what do you do? It's how confident I think you are. If you're very confident, maybe, you know, maybe the front 2, 3, 4, maybe start on mediums. Possibly. Oh, I forgot to invite that. I'm not going to have a lot of time to do this, but hopefully you can join back in. Join my party anyway. Can have a quick word. Did leave that quite late, so I apologise. Hello Dano. Sorry, I completely forgot to invite you there, so apologies. Apologies for that. If you can include your audio, please. Great pole position. Very last lap of the session. And got it in style in a weird situation because it was drying up towards the end of that Q3. Did you consider the dries, or was it you just thought there's too much spray, I'll just go on intermediate and see if I find proof?
Well, just before I came out, you know, you can like go across and you can see the delta time come down on the tyres. It was still around the 5-6 second mark, and I didn't think it would drop enough to be able to go on the softs and it make a difference. So I just took the chance, kept it on the intermediates, and just went for it. Just risked everything, to be honest, on that last lap.
Yeah. Obviously, it's dry. It's blazing sunlight for this race. I haven't checked the race director for what tyres you're starting on. Softs at the moment, are you planning to stay on the soft tyres, or
the plan is to stay on softs? Yeah.
Obviously your thought with that is, I assume, keep the lead, because obviously it's going to be difficult keeping that lead and that long run down to turn 1.
Yes, a very long straight, so the aim is to try and keep at least second from it, because it is hard, especially on this track.
Obviously, you've got Raikkonen starting alongside you. You've got Andy as well. They're both fighting for the championship. You've got Ferraris and Renaults behind you, who are 5 points between them. So you've got a lot of hungry drivers behind you. It's going to be a tough task, but I guess you're ready and willing for the challenge.
All I need to do is outscore tacticals, and I'll be happy. To be honest, that's all I'm going for is 4th in the drivers.
You're trying to? Yeah, I was going to say you're trying to beat tacticals to that race of champion spot.
Yeah.
Good stuff from your teammate as well, Orphan, getting into that top 10.
Yeah, it's really good.
P7 as well. Yeah, good stuff. So, yeah, good luck in the race. I'll let you get prepared, and
Thank you. Hope you all enjoy
at the end. Right, good luck in the race. And off he goes. So, take another gander at the race director. Just to see, and currently Kraken and Chronic both decided in the medium. Top 4 currently on softs. Of course, they can change it at any point from now until we start the race. So I'll go over it once we go through formation lap. But here we go. Viewer counts bumped up to, it says 19 on my Xbox, but 16 on my laptop. So I don't know what to believe anymore. But thank you very much for watching, the viewers. Good evening to It's Bluefoot 05, I believe a new name. I haven't seen you here before, so welcome if you are completely new. If you're not, I apologise for missing you. Should all be doing medium soft software. It's up to them, Mr. Rocket. It's their choice. You know, medium soft. I mean, I'd agree. Medium soft is a good tactic, but the problem is if you start in the mediums, it's, you know, you lose so much ground at the beginning. It's whether you can handle them in the opening stint. Of course, they're not going to be good off the line. So, tough choice. Of course, Raikkonen being the lobby host, of course, he always waits. I don't know, hope you do well. Thank you, Mr. Bluefoot. I'm assuming you're a mister. You could be a Mrs. So if you are a Mrs., I apologise. But yeah, welcome to RSF from Bluefoot, and hopefully you enjoy this race ahead of us. So that's not nice, Rocket. Now, jeez, no need to bring down camo like that. Of course, we'll do our own strategy, and to be fair, it nearly worked out for him. The only thing that didn't work out is he didn't get the gap that he needed to in the middle stint. So yeah, that's really for that. Yeah, it's one of several things you can do. The strategy on the tyres. You can soft, medium, soft, medium, soft, or you can go very aggressive, soft, medium. Which, of course, these guys will have lots of fresh tyres to work with. It'll be a good benefit for them. So this could be a very fast-paced race from the start line to the end of 36 laps as we get ourselves underway for the formation lap. With 14 drivers ahead of us. Okay, now I'm a male. Okay. Alright, 14th. Starting at the back is Mackie in the Mercedes, looking to start aggressively on the soft tyres. Because he's got 4 drivers and mediums ahead of him. First of which is Timmer in 13th in the lone racing point tonight. 12th is the other Mercedes of Shadow Moses. 11th is Daniel in the first of the Red Bulls, followed by his teammate Immortal in 10th place. Obviously, everyone starting on fresh tyres. So the outside the top 10 don't have that advantage tonight. Mando in the lone Haas driver is in 9th place, followed by the first of the AlphaTauris of MT the Mighty in 8th. Stars Orphan with a fantastic qualifying, starts in P7 in the McLaren. 6th is Chronic Buds in the AlphaTauri, just behind McCracken in the Renault. And then the top 4 all on softs, which makes it very, very tasty indeed. Andy Yuzgin, 4th place, can wrap up the championship if he finishes in a position 6 points higher than Raikkonen in this race. He will also rule out Teddist if he gets a minimum of, I think it's 7th. Yeah, he has to be 7th minimum and outscore Raikkonen by 6. And he'll be champion here tonight. See whether we can do it. Tacticals is 3rd in the Ferrari, hanging on to that 4th place in the Race of Champions spot, and also helping him and his teammate Raikkonen for the Constructors against Renault. 5 points between the two. Second is Raikkonen. He really needs to win. He doesn't... Well, he needs to beat Andy, first and foremost, I think, really, in this race tonight, to stand a realistic chance going into Brazil. Just not focus on Andy Yuskin. But our pole sitter, Mr. Dano, we heard him in the chat as well. He's going for the win as well. He wants that Race of Champions spot off of Tacticals at the end of the season. He's still aiming for it, which is good to hear, and he's pushing forward. He's going to have a difficult task, I think, to maintain the lead with 2 Ferraris and 2 Renaults behind him. We'll see how he gets on as they all start to go back to the grid and line themselves up. Once again, that camera is absolutely ridiculous. So we're going to jump on board with Andy Yuskin on the middle row, because the slipstream is going to be interesting as we see Timmer and Mackie in the background just lining themselves up on the back row of this grid. As once again we get a very difficult lap as we go for 5 red lights for the Mexican Grand Prix, and it's a very quick start as Dano got a lot of wheel spin off the start. It's going to be 3 wide between the Ferrari. It's going to be 4 wide from Andy Yuskin. It's 4 wide down into turn 1. Fantastic stuff, F5. And Andy Yuskin's right up on the inside, and then the 2 Ferraris who bang wheels. There's a bit of damage from one of them as the 2 Ferraris surrounding Andy Yuskin, and there's more contact. It's chaos. There's big contact with the championship leader. It all got all too close to comfort, and Dano is spinning all off in the infield as well. What drama in the first corner, and Raikkonen takes the lead ahead of Tacticals as the Ferrari 1-2. And the Renault of Andy Yuskin, he's got to fight back in this race. 4 wide into turn 1 was never going to be good news. But what it does mean, there's a few have gained massively as Mando up as well. Orphan unfortunately got caught out and all that as well. He's at the back as well as his teammate. But Mando's had a great start. Tacticals is all over the back of Raikkonen. Did Andy get any damage out of that? He didn't. So as long as he's still in the race, there was damage of someone. It is unfortunately Dano, our pole sitter. And he's getting time penalties as well. Orphan as well. So both McLarens, unfortunately, have been hit in that. And what a shame for them. As Andy Yuskin already making moves up in the inside of Daniel to get back into the top 10. But he's got a lot of work to do in that. And that's all it takes to change this championship, as Daniel's already looking back at Andy Yuskin in front of the inside of turn 1. As in front of them, this is not what Andy Yuskin needs. He's got all these cars all over the back of him. And he finds himself as the timing pages go completely kaput. Yeah, both Ferraris, both McLarens into the pits. I think actually Orphan stayed out to allow Dano to pit for his damage. He's got a yellow flag in sector 2. That's a Immortal at the back. He's had a bit of contact from somewhere. He's got damage. There must have been something that happened at the back. But the both for Ferraris, Raikkonen ahead of Tacticals, and this is absolutely perfect for Raikkonen in this stage to see Andy Yuskin down in 8th place at the moment and himself pushing away. Fastest lap as well. Ahead of his teammates. Got his teammate as a buffer as well. As Immortal's crashed it in the just before the stadium section. Is that going to be a safety car? Be very surprised if it isn't. It's right in the middle of the track. We're not going to be on board with Dano quick enough. And what a shame for Immortal. He is out on the 2nd lap. And yeah, Immortal is out the Grand Prix. No safety car. Dano moves back into 13th after pitting. Raikkonen pulling away. As MT the Mighty is having a look at Shadow Moses. This is for 6th place. There was damage, I think. Bit of carbon fibre. Andy Yuskin sticking his nose in with these two. He's on the sauce, trying to be aggressive here. He's right up at the inside of MT. Bit of contact. but moves through into 7th. So he is making gains. He's past Daniel, he's past Mackie, he's now past MT the Mighty. Bit of contact, but he has to be aggressive on those softs. Because he's now behind a horde of those on the mediums. First of all was Shadow Moses, and he's already looking DRS, and ERS flying past on the inside. Not actually past, all bit of contact, and again, oh, he spun around Moses. Oh, and damage as well for Andy Yuzkin. It goes from bad to worse for the championship leader. One more twist in the tail once again for this championship, and he's got a long road to go. It seemed like he had a lot of speed against Moses. Looked like to get the move done, but Moses still stuck it in there, and Andy just clipped his rear. Round goes the Mercedes, and damage for the Renault. That'll be something the stewards can look at later on, but for Andy, he was making progress, and now it's just going to be back, because that damage is going to hurt him. He's going to have to repair it as well. As there's a McLaren in the pit, and Mackie goes across the curb to try and overtake MT the Mighty there. He's got damage as well, so it's been a rough start for F5. And this is also perfect for Ferrari. Yeah, Button, who's also a Ferrari driver in the chat, cheering them on. Great position for them so far. As this midfield looking very tight. Look at Andy really struggling with that damage. He's losing time to Chronic in 5th. And he's now got Daniel all over the back of him. Full wide into that turn 1 was never going to work. No matter where you're sitting, Andy's into the pits. Don't speed as well. He has slowed it down, but what is he going to do from here? Got damage. He's going to have to repair it. Let's see. It is another soft. He's going aggressive. Probably the thing he's... Probably best thing to do. Raikkonen has got his foot down, pushing away from his teammate. Almost about 3 seconds ahead of Tacticals. Tacticals is acting as a buffer, I think, to McCracken, who McCracken is keeping solid pace in the mediums. In 3rd at the moment. Mando is running in 4th in the Haas. Good start, as I mentioned, up 5 places. Chronic in 5th, doing well in those mediums as well. It is hectic. Daniel in 5th place, also made a good start, up 5 places. MT the Mighty in 7th. Had that battle with Andy Yuzkin. And then you've got Mackie, who's been climbed all over the back of by Timmer. And then you've got Orphan in 10th, Moses, Andy and Dano already going through some troubles. And Timmer actually is going to get a good run on the back of Mackie into this last corner, I think. Mackie, for some reason, can't keep up the pace on the soft tyres, and Timmer's going to have ERS and DRS are going to fly up the inside of Mackie. Mackie obviously struggling. On the damage, but moves into 8th place. Yeah, unfortunately, Bluefoot, this is Xbox League for the time being. Also could be going to PS5 and PC in maybe a couple of years, but we're still a few stages off that at the moment. As Tacticals, there was a massive slide as McCracken picks up this first penalty. And Raikkonen is long gone, but it's exactly what he needs to do. And Andy at the moment, 12th place, outside the points. He's still possible for points, but how high is going to be the question. So all the pressure on McCracken to try and score good for Renault, and he's going to simply use the DRS and a bit of VRS as well to move into 2nd place past Tacticals. So these 3 pulling away, and unfortunately it's calmed down a little bit from that hectic start. But a very interesting first few laps of this race. People will now come down into their into their rhythm, into their strategy. Andy Yuzkin definitely putting his foot down. Fastest lap of the race, an 18.4, which is a tenth quicker than Raikkonen at the moment. Mackie and Tim are still having a go at each other as Mackie mistimes his brakes into that corner. And struggling with that damage. A lot of damage on that first few corners. All got very, very close into that first turn. Tacticals, even though he got passed by McCracken, he's jumping about a little bit, which is not good to see. He's still going to be in DRS range of McCracken. He might have a go back at him. Yeah, Raikkonen 5 seconds up the road. It's exactly a position that he'd want to be in. Oh, his tacticals goes over the curb a little bit too much. And that's his first penalty. Now puts him on equal with McCracken, and then we might see a few more of those as the race continues. Those track limits are very difficult to adhere to around this track. Meantime, Chronic Buzz is actually catching up to Mando in this battle. That seems to be, the only battle on track at the moment, and Mando seems to be really struggling on these softs. Fresh softs, so they should easily get to lap 10, but he's pushing so hard at them, I think. As Andy picks up his penalty, and Mando's round! Mando with a spin. Middle sector, don't come back on the track in front of Daniel. Careful though, he's got a train of cars coming. He's keeping out the way, and what a shame for Mando. He's racing really well. That moves Chronic into 4th place. Just got caught into a slide. It's so easily to lose the car there through that middle sector. But he drops himself into 8th, and his tyres are going to be all heated up as well. Meanwhile, Timmer is on the back of Mighty. So Timmer is moving his way up through the field. So Mando drops himself into this battle for 6th place. In fact, Mando pits. Yeah, his tyres were overheated as MT the Mighty can see Timmer going for the DRS. Bends heavily on the inside, but Timmer having none of it. Gets on the inside and goes into 6th place. So Timmer's making progress in that lone racing point tonight. Up into 6th, and he's got 7 seconds up the road to Daniel, who's holding a by himself race in 5th. So Mando came out on the hard tyres, interestingly. There's Andy right now. He is slowly catching back up to Moses, who we had that contact with in that spin. Of course, we'll leave that to the stewards. Of course, we do have a stewarding team to decide, but I don't know. Obviously, it's something that we'll have to wrap up later on, but he's got to get his head down, Andy, and try and minimize the damage here, because at the moment, yeah, Mando flat spotted his tyres with that spin. At the moment, Andy's just head down and score as many points as he can from this position. This is a very difficult one indeed. It nearly loses the car in the last corner. And he's going to get easily past Moses, I would think. He does. Yeah, because at this stage, if it all finishes now, Raikkonen winning and Andy with 1 point, then the gap would go from 47 to 23 points, and that would put Raikkonen with a very doable chance of catching or snatching the championship away from Andy Yuzkin. Still not over though. Only on lap 10, so plenty of this race to go. Any safety car will bring Andy right back into this. Definitely do not count him out. Meanwhile, Raikkonen 7 seconds up the road. He's absolutely consistently pushing himself. He understands this situation as his teammate Tacticals pits lap 10 on the softs. That's absolutely perfect. Goes on to the medium tyres for himself and repairs his damage. I didn't realise he got damage from somewhere. Must have missed that. See where he goes. He's going to be the the fourth guy to pit. Is he kind of come out ahead of Andy? There he does, but only just. Both pitted once. Andy on slightly more worn softs, but now he's got a target of tacticals ahead of him. Dano picks up his penalty. What a shame for Dano, honestly. Pole position, took it in. I think he just got caught out in the battle there. Looked like the Ferraris kind of maybe made contact with each other. Yeah. One count McCracken out. I agree. Oh, and now this is interesting. Mackie, who's obviously racing his own race, has caught out tacticals horrendously and now is pushing into Andy, who's had to really ease off for that last section. Of course, Mackie is just racing his own race as Andy picks up another penalty. 2 penalties for Andy on lap 12. Tacticals should be able to go. Whoa, that was close. That was close from Mackie. This might give Andy the opportunity because Tacticals had to go off the throttle ever so slightly. They both have DRS, but Andy Yizgin had the momentum. Tacticals had to ease off. That cost him momentum, so Andy sweeps on the inside. Well, that's very brave to brake right in front of Tacticals. He's now past him. But let's see what he can do in this strategy. He's got to pit a lot earlier than everybody else. That's the only problem. He's kind of out of sync a little bit. Raikkonen, meantime, still continues on. Gap was grown to about 7 seconds, but that's why, because his tyres have just heated off. He should be going into pits now, and he does. And he goes on to the medium tyres. Decides to leave the softs maybe to the end if he can make it. That gives McCracken the lead. Where is Raikkonen come out? Clean air would be good. Oh, plenty. Is it plenty? He's going to be close to Daniel. No, I think he's just going to come out just ahead of Daniel. So that was crucial, actually. Because if he was behind Daniel, that would be an issue. He's got clean air. Still keeping his battle with McCracken as Tacticals is having a way back at Andy Yizgin. Got a massive run at the last corner. It's going to be just about alongside into turn 1. All close between the pair of them. And they're just about. Andy giving them a lot of room going off the track, actually. I agree, Lincoln. I think Tacticals is helping out Raikkonen as he gets back past Andy Yizgin, and Andy would not be liking that at all. But his softs, of course, he's 7 laps on them, so he'll be pitting in another couple of laps. What I'm saying, he's still out of sync with everyone else. Mackie picks up another penalty. That's 12 seconds. He's just pitted. As yellow flag, and that is Mackie at the back, and he's had a spin through turn 3. Big damage and lighting up the rears as he gets back on to the track. That's big damage for the Mercedes driver, and that's not what he wanted at all. As Daniel pits onto softs. Of course, he's going to be going quick at this point. As Tacticals then gets by MT the Mighty, and then Andy will be looking to get by as well. Nearly got caught out by the AlphaTauri's braking. The Tacticals is getting on with it on those tyres, doing pretty well. Another yellow flag for the first sector, so Tacticals has got by Mighty. Looking very good. Mighty is yet to pit, as is Timo, and again Andy touches the back of Mighty. He's getting close with a lot of drivers here today, Mr. Andy. You are aggressive, Mr. Rocket. But I like it. McCracken pits as Raikkonen gets by Chronic because Chronic's in the pits. So Raikkonen gets back the lead. McCracken onto Sauce. Where's he going to come out in Tacticals? Tacticals was doing well on these mediums, but he's been caught in traffic in these last few corners. So is McCracken going to get it back out in second? He must do. Where is the Reddit? Yeah, he's miles away. Miles away. And he's on softs as well. As Andy has got by NT the Mighty. So, where are we at in the strategy? So Tim is yet to pit, Mighty and Moses. All yet to pit. So still Mackie again. 15 seconds, not enjoying his time at the moment. Yeah, that incident at the start is it's just a thing there that they were full wide. You know, it was all because, you know, you got such a long run down to turn 1. Dano didn't get the best of starts. Ferrari's got a better start than him, but Andy got the better start than all three of them put together. And that's why he was right up in the inside. It's one of those you don't blame him for going up on the inside, but should he have made it a full wide situation? Not blaming him, but he saw the gap, went for it. While Tacticals is struggling to find a way past Timmer, as Chronic, who's just pitted, is behind his teammate. Timmer does pit. Now Chronic, we're going to have the two Alpha Tauris fighting by the looks of it. Well, I say fighting. When it goes easily behind the fresh softs, and there goes... Who's that coming out? That's Mackie, who's just pitted. He's off to allow everyone to go through. So Chronic going strongly on those softs. Chronic's looking pretty good for a solid result. And you got these for the moment. So Raikkonen leads. Had a 12-second gap, but he's being caught by McCracken. But McCracken is on soft tyres and chasing him down. But of course, towards the end of the race, they could be on different compounds altogether. But there, I think them two are battling for the win at this point. Unless we have a virtual or full safety car to completely turn this race on its head. This is the battle for third. Tacticals, I think Andy is kind of in there, but he's either going to pit this lap or next lap, and it'll depend what tyres he goes to and whether they can get to the end. Be a tough ask. You can see he's struggling now on this lap. You're going to pit. Have a look. It's 10 laps now. He's staying out, so this is a chance for Chronic at the last corner. Andy got a very good exit. He's not even using any RS. This is going to be a bit of a tough ask for Chronic. Oh no, he's a lot of straight line speed in that AlphaTauri, and he's moving alongside into 4th place as Mackie has retired in the Mercedes. That's not really a surprise, as Timmer is going to have a go at Mando down the straight. He's going to be just about close enough. This is Mando on his hard tyres, going really long on this stint. And, oh, Timmer still alongside Mando, giving him the room. Mando actually fights back. Good defensive driving from Mando. You'd think Timmer would be going by on the softs, but now he's going to get the exit out of turn 3. But again, Mando is very quick in the straight line. It's going to be a tough move for Timmer around the outside, despite the 2 compound differences. Tacticals picks up a penalty. It's still side by side. Mando eventually has to give up the place. Good battling between them two. As Timmer moves into 7th place. Great defensive driving from Mando there. It's Chronic. Chronic's having a very good race at the moment, as catching up to the back of Tacticals, as Andy's still yet to pit. His tyres were struggling, but he's still staying out on them. What are we doing on penalties at the moment? Timmer Raikkonen and Moses, the only one penalty free. As Mighty on those fresh softs is just eased by Dano. In terms of penalties, so Chronic is one penalty less than Tacticals at the moment. A bit of a wheel spin at the end. Chronic is looking for a podium, I think, in this race. Past Andy's absolutely dropped him because of how fresh his tyres are. His Tactical's very wide on the corner. Don't want to get it caught on that curb. Kraken, meantime, is catching Raikkonen, but it's 7 seconds, and by the time he catches Raikkonen, his tyres may be towards the end of their life. Chronic is definitely eyeing up Tacticals here. Tacticals didn't have a good final sector. Car very loose, and let's see if Chronic can get close enough. See the AlphaTauri edging closer and closer, and this should be an easy move for Chronic. Up on the inside he goes, and yep, into third place. Now he's got to gap Tacticals as much as he can. See if he can maintain that third place. I'm just going to have a go. I'll have a look at my records here to see whether Chronic is racing for his first podium, as Andy now pits, drops to 9th on the mediums. Let's look at this properly. Tier 5 Chronic. As Mighty has gone by Mando for 7th. Mando struggling on those. Oh, this is actually a big tread of goals, Andy. Jesus. Just get on the back of Andy, going for an interesting lunge up on the inside. Gotta bide his time. Can meet. Is medium's gonna get to the end from here? 16 laps, anyone? Medium tyres? Tough ask, I think. Rocket, you saying he should be patient. You're one of the least patient people. Tacticals is keeping to Chronic. Doing well. Mando didn't get a good exit at all on the last corner. This is Andy Yuskin's chance. Mighty realising he's going to be under pressure. And he should be able to get past Mando. He's going to get by Mighty as well. He's thinking about it. He went for it. Mighty gave him the room. With a late lunge, and Mando just gets... Oh, Mando spun it. Mando spun it, got caught on the grass. And that's not what Mando... Just a slight touch, I think. I don't think there was anything malicious. Just got caught out in the battling. And he's down to 9th. So Andy up to 7th. Minimising the damage so far, but that's all he can do, I think, in this race. And Fishstick Sane should be okay for 16. So yeah, that's what he's trying to do. They're not going to be great the last few laps, but let's see. He doesn't need to pit again, and everyone else in front of him does. I think at best 6th place might be best for him. Right, in terms of podiums, let's have a quick look what I got the time. Chronic hasn't had a podium. His best result was 8th place 2 weeks ago. So Chronic is having the best race, even if he doesn't get this podium, having the best race so far I've seen him in F5, so very good stuff to see from Chronic and that AlphaTauri. The Tacticals is keeping right with Chronic. Chronic needs really to get the gap ahead of Tacticals, but Tacticals is stuck to the back of this gearbox. Anything with Tacticals is he's got one more penalty than Chronic ahead of him. And what else we got? We've got Kraken still catching Raikkonen, but he's still not with him. He's only got another 4 or 5 laps of these softs to go before he has to pit on them. It is all spread out. Seems to be these two battling. Andy is slowly catching to Timmer, dragging MT the Mighty along with him. And then he's got 15 seconds to Daniel. Oh no, it's 8 seconds to Daniel and then 15 to Tacticals, this battle here. So yeah, Andy will be looking 6th at best, I think. It's not what he wants at all, but you'll still have a good, decent gap going into Brazil. And still, Chronic cannot get away from Tacticals. Tacticals is doing exactly what he needs to do to keep hold of this 3rd place. Should be good for Ferrari, keeping their slim gap over Renault. As Dano moves by, this is a battle going on for 10th place. This is Dano, who's trying to recover something from this race, lunging it up on his teammate to get into 10th. And you got Orphan and Moses battling over that 10th place, or 11th now it will be. And Andy, yeah, he's now caught up to the back of Timmer. Andy's pace, yet again, is just very strong, and Timmer's just thinking, what do I do? Well, he's got a gearbox glitch in the moment, so I won't jump on board. Is Andy going to be close enough from a move? Timmer thinks about it. There's a big lunge on the outside. Nice move, actually. A tensed up. Timmer gave him all the room in the world, but Andy took it. And a good move on the outside. Back into 6th place he goes. Good stuff from Timmer to give him the space. But good driving from the pair of them. As Tacticals again stuck within DRS of Chronic. Chronic cannot get rid of him. And the gap at the front meantime between Raikkonen and Kraken is just stabilising to 4.5 seconds. So Raikkonen still looking strong for this win. Right. Oh, and then I say that and then he gets a penalty. How many penalty? Well, so that makes him equal McCracken. So maybe this ain't over yet. He's in control, but don't want to get another penalty there. It's been times in the past where he has lost victories because of time penalties. So let's hope that doesn't come back to bite him. So depends what the top 2 are going to go on in terms of tyres. As Dano and what's happening with Dano and Mando. Dano and Mando going at all this contact between the pair of them. Dano on 4 lap softs against Mando's 14 lap hards, and Mando squeezing him, just giving him just enough room. Dano locking up on the outside. Again, scraping alongside, gave him no room, well, just about enough room on the exit. Another good battle ends with Dano moving into 9th place now. I'd imagine Mando's trying to get to the end on hard, so I don't imagine he'd pit again. But he is just losing time on them at the moment. Everyone now has a penalty. Championship if it stays like this. So Raikkonen has... no, he doesn't have fastest lap. So Raikkonen be 25. 8 for Andy, so that's 17 points. So it would be... what's 47? If it ends like this, Rocket, Andy will still have a 30-point lead going into Brazil. And then you can work out the permutations from that when we go to Brazil. But yeah, if it all stays like this, it'll be 30 points that Andy still has. So effectively, Andy would still be in control as Tacticals pits before Chronic. 13 laps on mediums is not a good stint, and he's going to the softs. They should easily go to the end because it should be fresh. Maybe undercut as McCracken does pit and also goes to soft tyres. Yeah, Tactical was struggling a little bit. Daniel pits as well, moves Andy into 5th. And is he going to come out ahead of Tacticals? He does. So that's a bit of a thorn in Tactical's side because he wants Clean Air to get ahead of Chronic. He's now got Andy in front of him. This should be... should be relatively easy because he's on fresh softs. In fact, he's going to have a run on him already. Out of turn 3, Andy already thinking middle of the road defence. Big lunge from Tacticals. Oh! Bit of a squeeze from Andy. And Tacticals had to cut the corner to avoid him and get a time penalty. Ooh. Uh-oh. The gossip is going to start raining down now. Because that was definitely a big squeeze from Andy. Tacticals will not be very happy with that at all. He's all over the back of him. Chronic pits. I think this is going to cost Tacticals. As Raikkonen pits and maintains the lead ahead of Kraken. So they're both on the same tyres. Both on the same strategy. Where is Chronic going to come out in all this? Tacticals is all over the back of Andy. There's Chronic. So Tacticals does get out ahead of Chronic only just, and he's going to be up on the inside of Andy and take back 3rd place. So now Chronic now has to pass Andy and then get close to Tacticals, although he's far less penalties than everyone else. But a good move from Tacticals. That's exactly what he needed to do. Was Chronic very late on the brakes, nearly hit the back of Andy. That was close. And there's the gap at the front. Orphan is lap down, should move swiftly out of the way for Kraken. He's still in a battle with Moses for 11th. In fact, Moses is on the pits ahead. Gap is stabilising at 2.8 seconds. And McCracken's going to get DRS as Chronic is now all over the back of Andy. With a tap on the front of him. I don't think Andy really has much defence. He's just trying desperately to get to the end of this race on these mediums. And Chronic doesn't want to lose any time with Tacticals. He's trying to find a way by. And this should be a move done. Yep. And the inside slight rubbing of tyres. But Chronic is into the lead. Not into the lead, he's into 4th. Which stays at this moment in time as a net 3rd place. He's on for his first podium if he can keep the pace up and keep clean on the penalties. He'll get his first podium. The top 2 of McCracken and Raikkonen been pushing each other so much they're 20 seconds ahead of Tacticals in 3rd. Kraken, well, for his own benefit as well, because he's still in the fight of top 4. But for Renault's benefit as well, he's got to chase down Raikkonen. Fastest lap of the race, catches him by a couple of tenths that lap. This ain't over. Both on 3 seconds. One more penalty for either will ruin it. 2.5 seconds, run slightly deep into turn 1. Had to turn out of turn 2, otherwise he would have cut it, and that cost him a good 4 tenths actually. That lost him a huge amount of time. As Andy pits. Fastest lap maybe? Also held a bit. Did he get a 5-second thing? I don't remember where he got 5 seconds from, but it held him and he's going to get out ahead of Timmer. Oh, Timmer's gonna be close. No, he comes up behind Timmer. I don't really understand that pit stop, really. Unless his fastest lap, but he could have held on for 5th, I guess. Yeah, could have held on to 5th. I was thinking fastest lap and 6th, which is less points than 5th. I don't get that stop personally. That's a weird one. Could have gone to the end. Maybe it's taking away fastest lap from Raikkonen if he potentially gets it. Very interesting stop. Either way, he's now going to be behind Timo. He's just trying to get to the... Jesus, Andy. Oh, gives Timo a tap as well. Tensed up horrendously. That was similar to Rocket in F3 last night on Camo. Okay, interesting. Oh, why? Why is my laptop freezing up at this time? Meanwhile, Timmer's having to go back at Andy. Timmer's not done with Andy. He's like, I want to get back at you here. Raikkonen doesn't like his fastest lap being taken. Yeah. Timmer keeping up with Andy at this point. Battle ain't over. Oh, there goes the penalty. Even though that mistake from McCracken has cost it, I think he's got a penalty anyway. So as long as Raikkonen keeps clean and doesn't get another penalty himself, he should be alright. Oh, now calming down. So in terms of penalties, with 4 laps to go, Raikkonen has... Well, he's definitely going to keep the lead, of course. Then McCracken. McCracken's easily got... second. Ronick is definitely going to get tacticals on third place. Again, will be his first podium in RSF1, and that'll be a good way to reward a good sterling drive from him. Up 2 places. They had a strong qualifying as well, but all looking good for him. Daniels should be safe in 5th, kind of in a... He's 13 seconds ahead of Andy and 13 seconds behind Chronic, so he's in a race up by himself. And he's just got enough gap on Timmer, so he will stay in 6th. The Mighty and Timmer might have a battle towards the end of this. Second between him, and even on penalties. Daniel's got 20 seconds. So he will lose out 9th and 10th to Mando and Moses potentially. Though it's close, that gap. So yeah, this seems to be the only battle going on. Empty the Mighty on the back of Timmer for 7th place as we've got 3 laps to go. Who has the fastest lap at the moment? Dano does. A 16.6. Just ahead of Andy Yuskin, so even Andy Yuskin's pit for fastest lap potentially isn't working out. As Mighty gets very, very close to the back of Timo, gets a little bit closer. We've through turn 1 and 2. Nicely done. 2 more laps for Raikkonen. Maintaining the gap that he has of Kraken. In fact, he's pushing away a little bit. Just been completely on it today, even though he said to me he wasn't confident. Obviously, the rain maybe gave him a little bit of added sort of confidence. Timo struggling for the middle sector. Mighty catching him all the way through here. This is penalty free, so this is legitimate battle on track for position. Into the final corner. Can you get close enough with the DRS and a bit of ERS? Uses a bit on the exit. They're both around the same. Here comes Mighty, getting closer and closer with the DRS. Timmer defends on the inside, and in comes Mighty. Easily done. Into 7th place for the AlphaTauri drivers. So it's a good showing for the AlphaTauri team today. After, well, a unfortunate race yesterday in F3, the two of them connecting. Raikkonen's got a lap and a half to go. I wonder if Timmer can keep to the back of Mighty through this middle sector and get him back on the front straight. And with another 3 seconds. That will... Oh, he's so close to Moses. Moses is so close to his first point as well. MT the Mighty, I think, is going to get his first race. Or first points, I mean. Yeah, this battle ain't over. Timo's not done. Timmer's not done with Mighty. Didn't get a good exit at the last corner, so this will be a bit of a struggle using all of his ERS to attack, but he's not going to be close enough, I don't think. Nope. As Raikkonen now starts his final lap of this race. We'll give him a little bit of camera time. Because to be honest, ever since the start, we haven't really given him time on the stream. Stayed out of trouble somehow with that 4 wide moment into the first corner. Yeah, as Lincoln says, he's just cruising at this point. He's managed the gap, got the gap of the first stint. Obviously had tacticals as a nice buffer behind. But he has pushed away in this. He's still got half a lap to go, of course. Not saying that he will, but he hasn't crossed the line yet. But he has done everything right so far in this race. Got the gap at the start. Penalty. I guess it doesn't matter now because he has the gap. Because Kraken has 2 penalties himself, but of course had to get one on the last lap, didn't you, Raikkonen? Through the final corners, the flares or the smoke, I guess, already going off as it comes round the final corner. And surely he's got it now, unless he bends into the pit lane award, of course. But he crosses the line and wins in Mexico. And that will do him wonders for his Drivers' Championship. It is not over yet. We will still go to the penultimate race next time out, when McCracken goes in second to minimise the damage for Renault. Bronick is only just keeping in the 6 he's got to keep within 6 seconds of tacticals. It's 5.9. Is it going to be enough? Oh, by less than a tenth. Chronic Buds just gets tacticals on penalties by a tenth, and he gets his first podium in RSF1. Only just though. As Mighty and Timmer, they're still going at it. Tacticals in 4th, Daniel in 5th. Andy Yuzkin is, I think, gonna come home in 6th place. He does. MT the Mighty 7th, Timmer 8th. Daniel's gonna have a lot of penalties. Is he gonna stay in 9th place? I think he is actually, because Mando's got 12. So Mando will pick up the last point in the Haas. And that is that. So there we have it. Because of the drama for Andy Yuzkin, we are officially going to the penultimate race of the season. 2 more to go, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. And we'll see who goes up. We still don't know. Still don't know. Because another twist in the tail. Raikkonen won't complain. Might have been a boring race from his point of view, but he will not complain at all. He's taken the 25 points for himself and Ferrari. Well, H-Boot, I apologise for not being on that battle. But I have only one set of cameras. So, do apologise for missing that last battle. Got some of it, so yeah. I apologise for that. There we have it. Raikkonen with the victory. Raikkonen and McCracken in 2nd. 3rd for Chronic Buds. Picks up his first podium in RSF1, so he should be very happy with that. Tacticals only just missed out, less than a 10th. But he'll still be happy with 4th. Some good points for Ferrari as well. Daniel in P5. Andy Yuzkin 6th. He minimised the damage. But the gap will be 25 for Raikkonen, 8 for Andy Yuzkin. Yeah, Ted is out the championship, Rocket. It is now officially a 2-horse race between Andy and Raikkonen with that result. Of course, any stewards things might change that, but of course provisionally, I believe that is the case. Mighty 7th. Timmer 8th, Dano 9th, and Mando in 10th place. Hello. Yeah, I'm just inviting the rest. Chronic. You're right, Kraken. Don't know what that was. Just need Chronic to join us. If he knows, it'll be his first time. I believe.
That is his first time.
Come on, Chronic, join the party. I want to know. I want to know how you feel. Give him another minute or so. There's only one more. You'll get the message, I think.
I hate Mexico.
Yeah, that's what you told me.
I'm only joking. I'll include my audio now.
Yeah, that's what you told me, Raikkonen. You said you didn't like Mexico.
I hate Mexico. You don't need to like a track
One.
to do well in it.
Oh, yeah, to be fair.
You what,
I
mate?
don't think Chronic's going to join us. So we'll just have to deal with you two then. Okay. Let's start off with McCracken.
Alright, mate.
Can you turn the stream down, right? I can hear
Yeah.
myself.
I just realised.
Sorry. I hate hearing myself when I'm doing this. Yes, Mr. McCracken. A very good result for yourself. Second place. Does good for you to keep battling for that top 4. Did your best to keep up with Raikkonen, but Raikkonen just seemed too consistent and quick up at the front, despite your best efforts there. Obviously, difficult race for your teammate as well, Andy, to come home in 6th. But again, you're still going to be happy with another podium under your belt. How do you think your race went?
Well, qualifying was wet, so that's a fat F. I hate the wet, as everyone seems to know. So I didn't enjoy qualifying. I feel like I could have got higher if it was dry. A 1 lap pace in Mexico was quite good. Decided to start in the mediums because I thought the top 4. I think I qualified 5th. The top 4 were going to go soft, so I thought I'm just going to switch it up, try something different. If I can keep up with a lot of them with the mediums, I know I've got a good tactic and I can catch up with them a lot better when I get to the softs. So it went well. Turn 1 looked like a disaster. They went 4 wide, and I can't wait to watch that back. So that was some easy positions, and then I just seemed to have the pace over tactics even in the mediums, so I got past him. By that point, Raikkonen's far up the road.
He was already off to Brazil.
Yeah, he's already the next track. But I mean, I tried everything I could. I mean, when I went to the softs, I pushed as hard as I can. I was at the start, I was gaining like 1.5 seconds a lap, and then eventually the softs start to die out, and the mediums are kind of. Well, the mediums die out as well, but it's definitely a lot harder near the end of the stint. And I even tried to undercut by a lap. I tried everything I could, man. But when we both came out of the pits, I thought, well, let's see if I can beat him on sheer pace. After 2 laps, I realised I can't because I started pushing. I started pushing too hard, and I got another penalty. And after that, I went, you know what? I'm just gonna bring it home, man. I'm just gonna relax and bring it home. The problem with Mexico with me is when I push really hard, I get a lot of penalties.
Yeah, same here.
Actually, I did practice for this track, first track, and I don't know how long I actually practiced in, and I think I had like 12 seconds of penalties. So I realised I need to. I can't go as fast as I can round here. I need to hold off quite a bit. So yeah, I mean, it would have been fun to battle him, but it wasn't meant to be. But again, it's Raikkonen. It's got good pace. He was led from the. Well, I was about to say led from the start. Technically not, but.
Yeah.
It was only 1 turn and then he led from the start.
18.
Really good in his first stint. I think that was the main one. His first stint when he got I can't remember how many seconds he got on me in the softs when I was on mediums, but that's what killed me, to be honest. That's what. I'm happy to get second. To be honest, I'm really happy to get second.
Yeah, that second place, 18 points, puts you on 152. Because you're ahead of Dano, so you went to 5th. Obviously, I presume you're still fighting to get 4th place. Obviously, you're fighting tacticals for 2 reasons. Race to Champions, I guess, at the end, if that's what you want or aiming for. But also to try and beat Ferrari constructors. It's a bit of a difficult race for today, but there's still 2 races to go, still plenty of points. This could go down to the wire. Is Brazil or Abu Dhabi good tracks that you can bring the fight for Renault?
I mean, if I practice, then yeah. I don't know. The end of the calendar is not a strong one for me. The start of the calendar is obviously.
Just run off and play on the PC, we're cracking. Just go run off and play on your PC for the week. I'll see you.
I mean, I said to Andy at the beginning, when I started obviously not practicing at all and showing up and see what I could do, I was like, my goal is to beat tactics because I just don't have the pace for Raikkonen. Obviously, I'd love to beat him on track, but like, That's Andy's job. Do you know what I mean? my job's tactics. Try to get the points. Obviously, Andy had a very unfortunate race, but he's obviously got pace, so he could go down to the wire. But I think Renault could bring it home. That's the plan anyway. Yeah, it was fun.
We shall see.
Congratulations to obviously Chronic in his first podium, even though he's not here, and obviously congratulations for Raikkonen for doing it again, I guess.
Cheers, mate.
Race.
Yeah, congrats on your second place, Kraken.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, I for one hope at least the constructors goes down to the final race, but right, we head to our race winner, Mr. Raikkonen, and I believe it's your 5th race win this season. And I remember you saying to me, like, when you got your first win this season, obviously that was your first win in like 2 seasons, I think it was,
3
season and a half, something
3
like 3 seasons. Sorry. So you wait ages for 1, and then 5 come on the bounce. So great stuff. Obviously that 4 wide turn 1 on the first lap is interesting. Looked to be slight contact between you and your teammate that may have set it off, but that's just what I remember visually at the time. Could be completely wrong with that. But yeah, that just shows obviously the close racing and the nature of the track and the way it happens. Of course, you didn't complain it because you ended up in the lead, and as Kraken said, pulled away and maintained the gap. Maybe not as exciting for you, but I guess you won't complain, will you? Because you got the points. You did what you needed to do.
Start was, like you say, very interesting. I got Dano off the line because, unfortunately, Dano had the incident there and everything, and lost all the track position and everything. But no, I got Dano off the line. And obviously, Tactics was behind me and telling me that I had a Renault Rocket coming up on the right-hand side. I was like, right, okay, I'm just going to hold my line, literally hold where I am. I'm going to let everyone go around, because like the entry to turn 1 is just absolutely, you could put probably 6 wide there, but obviously it's going to cause carnage. But if I just hold my line and everything and say I'm not moving, like you say, I think me and Tacticals did brush slightly, because like obviously he was trying to avoid Andy coming up like a rocket. Well, it's like a torpedo on the inside, on the right hand side. And then obviously he got the jump. Andy got the jump on Tactics, and he was on my right hand side. But obviously I had the inside line for turn 2, and just once I got around turn 2 and just not bolted, but like got it right to turn 3, and just like you say, went away with it. And I don't know what happened to Andy.
Got tipped by Dano by the looks of it. Had damage, and then didn't have damage, recovered from 9th, then tipped around Moses, got damage himself, and then basically a damage limitation recovery race for Andy. Ended up 6th. Well,
unfortunately for him, but that has played right into my cards, obviously, for obvious reasons for the rest of the season. But no, I was happy with it. Like I said earlier, this is not a track that I favour at all. I had to do quite a few laps to get into the rhythm of it, especially around the S section, for like not getting validations and time penalties and everything. So I think I fared off well with just 6 seconds, to be fair.
Yeah. Got one on the last lap, of course.
Oh yeah, but like that one on the last lap, when I was looking at the delta and that lot, so I'd kind of relaxed a little bit more rather than like really concentrating on the track limits and everything. So. That's right, we just went a little bit wide, and I thought, nothing. I was 5 seconds ahead of Kraken at the time, so it was it's a controlled race for me in my end. Although I did have a little bit of a panic when I saw Kraken. I didn't realise that Kraken had started on mediums, and I thought, oh, hang on, because my strategy was soft medium, like it was telling me, and I was like, hang on, at the end of it, Kraken's going to have a massive pace advantage on me, so I had to switch around a little bit and do my
I wish you did
in the middle of the race. So being on the 2-stop kind of like played to my advantage, like because Kraken blinked first, I was able to call the shots.
Yeah, seemed to manage it perfectly. With that win, with Andy's result, that brings down the gap from 47 to 30 points. Obviously, advantage still Andy, because he can still win it.
At the next
time
race.
out. You have to beat him effectively. I believe the permutations on that. Of course, it's not over. Of course, you're named.
Oh, hang on.
After a drive.
Say if the next race I come second, he comes first. No.
No, he would win. He would win. You'd have to beat him.
So it was yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying
I'm
to
gonna
think.
Even if
execute
you're
order
first.
66.
Even if you're first and him second, gap goes down by 7, and then it'll be 23. You'd then still have a chance, only just. But you'd have to beat him.
Okay.
If he beats you in any sort of manner, even by 1 place, that's it. So that's it there. So yeah, that'll be the target there for the next race.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens. As for the constructors as well, even if you maybe just lose out on the drivers, of course, I was just going to mention you're named after a driver that sneaked away a championship in 2007, even though it looked very unlikely. So you never know. You never know. It could be fate. So we'll see on that. I hope it goes down to the final race, but we'll see what happens.
That's it. By my calculations, you win the championship by 1
By
point.
1 point. Yeah. And all that jazz. All that jazz. We'll see. Constructors though. Big.
I've just thought of something as well.
Sorry. What?
We could have history repeat itself.
Well, let's put. I'm going to let the rabbit hat out the rabbit anyway. So now it's already.
I was going to say, can I mention it?
It's announced in the division announcement. So basically, if the division choose next week to postpone Brazil, and we move to Abu Dhabi and then do Brazil at the end of the season, it could be the title decider at Brazil for Raikkonen.
Could be. The only problem with that is that Andy Yuska's very strong around Abu Dhabi, as you know from last season. That's the only, not to bring you down,